This spark I spoke of is inspiration, determination, and fearlessness. Because if you have hit rock bottom in your life, you will realize that you have two choices: to stay that way or to start fighting back harder than ever. Because you have nothing to lose, only to gain. Because when you're cornered by society and branded as a failure, and when everything is crashed down, everything, your friends, your reputation, your respect, your freedom, your opportunities, you're going to be faced with that choice. The problem is, we as youth only see the success of those who have become someone today. We don't know their stories, we don't see the hardships they have been through to become who they are. And most importantly, we don't know when they hit rock bottom. I would like to share with you all as to how the world-renowned author J.K. Rowling became what she is. Born in 1965 in England, John Kathleen Rowling was the first child of Peter and Anne. And you know, in today's society, people are judged according to how well they do in sports or how well they perform academically. And in this context, J.K. Rowling is an absolute loser. Because she was a freckly, short-sighted girl who was terrible at sports and she had a knack for passing exams. She even broke her hand trying to play netball in college. Her childhood was very much this, along with a strong passion to write novels. Before I tell you about her times in college, let us be reminded that she and her parents were very financially unstable. In her commencement speech at Harvard in 2008, she said, and I quote, "They had been poor themselves and I have since been poor, and I quite agree with them that it is not an ennobling experience. Poverty entails fear, stress, and sometimes depression. It meets 1,000 petty hardships and humiliations. Climbing out of poverty by your own efforts, that is something on which to pride yourself. But poverty itself is romanticized only by fools." This statement of hers clearly indicates the role poverty had played in her life. Coming to when she was in college, her parents wanted her to do a vocational degree. But she, on the other hand, wanted to do English literature and classical subjects like Greek and mythology. But with the absence of her parents' knowledge, she pursued the subjects she wished to study. 7 years after her graduation, she had hit rock bottom. Her exceptionally short marriage had imploded. She was jobless, a lone parent, and she was poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. She was the absolute definition of failure. But she points out, and I agree, that the advantage of failure is that it strips away the inessential. She stopped pretending to be anyone else than who she was, and she focused everything she had to finish the book she was writing. Maybe if something average had gone right for J.K. Rowling, they wouldn't have the opportunity, or rather the privilege, of exploring the wonderful wizard world of Harry Potter. I'm not a great personality or famous character, but I have a big heart and big dreams. I would like to share with you all an incident which I believe was where I hit rock bottom, where I was a failure as failure could ever be. And given the circumstances, J.K. Rowling was over 25 years old when she went to that dark place in life, but I was merely a 15-year-old brat. When my confidence was broken, my dreams crushed, my hopes destroyed, and I was mercilessly cornered. But to those who know me, I know you all love to exaggerate. But with all honesty, this is how my story started. My first steps of extracurricular and co-curricular activities were in grade 7, when I joined the English Literature Association of my school, which was mainly drama and debating, and I loved it from the bottom of my heart. And then a year later, in 2008, I did my first model event conference, which was Sri Lanka Model Event Nations. But there was a small obstacle there. Our school did not have a model event society, or rather it had one, but it was inactive. So I always wanted to revive or start as a model event society in school. So in 2009, I joined Interact, and with the exposure to its organization and socialization, I finally gathered up the confidence to start up or revive a model event club in school. But a little did I realize that this was going against the interest of certain seniors in school at the time, because apparently they made their pocket money by charging the registration fees a bit more than what it should be. So in the end, what happened was, and because of this, under the pretext that I had attitude problems, I was kicked out of debating, I was banned from drama, I was even stopped from taking part in multi-event conferences. I was simply devastated. I remember the day I was kicked out of debating, where I was asked to stand up and leave in front of all my friends. It perfectly fitted the criteria of the walk of shame. But there was nothing to be ashamed of, because I know that I stood up for what I knew was right, and there was nothing to be ashamed of about it. It even went to the extent of me getting my first covering when I was surrounded by five seniors in the basketball court. But this was how I hit rock bottom. But this ignited a spark in me, and this spark turned into flames of inspiration, determination, and fearlessness, because I knew I had nothing to lose and only to gain. And like J.K. Rowling and so many others, rock bottom had become the solid foundation on what I started to build myself on again. In the end, I wrote a letter to my vice principal, and she was shocked to see a little boy with a letter of complaint. I think it was a petition rather, signed by several of my friends. And things finally started to turn around. I was back in debating. We finally started up the much desired United Nations Club, and things started to flow. I must say this 6 months of life when I was a kid was truly adventurous. You know, when people tell you that when a door closes in your life, another door opens, well, let me tell you this. When a door closes in your life, that door which usually opens is the door of submission and surrender, where you have to give up your dreams. Don't even think about it. Turn back, take a deep breath, and kick that door stopping you from taking the road you want to take. Kick that door so hard, and if you kick it hard enough, the small obstacles behind that door would go along with it. And then all you have to do is start moving forward steady. Don't go too fast, because some people go fast, but what happens when they go fast? They miss small things in the end which turn out to be the most important. And they either have to come back, or they are too late, and they are going to be stuck there forever. So don't be put in that situation. This is life, people. Be who you are. Stand up for what you believe in. Because in the end, so many people are going to try and put you down. They'll harm you, they'll frame you, they'll accuse you of things you wouldn't even dream of doing. But in the end, you need to stand up strong and believe in yourself. Because if you don't, then who will? Not to take much of your time, hoping that I have done justice for this opportunity you have given me as the outgoing president to address you all. I wish you all the very best of luck and happiness in everything, and would like to leave all you amazing people with a small quote. Gandhi once said, "When I'm in times of despair, I remember that all throughout history, the way of the good and the way of love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a while they seem invincible, but in the end, they always fall. Always." Thank you very much, and God bless you. I have one last duty to do, and that is to hand over the scholar and the responsibilities of a president, the president of a prestigious club, over to someone new with new ideas and maybe a difference in his thoughts, because we were the change. I hope that it continues to be the change with an extra spark. I would like to introduce you all to the incoming president. I'm not going to say much about him. 2 words define him: discipline and character. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the incoming president for the Interact Club of D.S.Senanayake College for the years of 2013-2014, Interact Kashif Zia.